So, I don't know about you, but when I use a new piece of music software, my first question is, how do I get it to make sound? Right? I just want some sounds to come out, and I want them to sound kind of cool, right? Um, so I'm going to show you how to make Bespoke make a sound. And then we are going to play with it a little bit, see if we can make it sound cool. So in less than 10 minutes, we're going to have a cool sound. So we always want to start with an instrument and a synth. The instrument is going to tell us what notes are playing. Note sequencer is a great basic instrument, right? It generates some notes. It plays these notes. We're going to do every other one. So cool. We've got some notes playing. And then a synthesizer. Oscillator is a great one to start with. It's a polyphonic enveloped oscillator, but it makes noises. That's what we need to know about it. And we're going to change this from a square wave to a sine wave just because it's a little bit crunchy. It's a little bit too crunchy. So we'll drag this notes going into the oscillator. So now this knows what frequency to play, right? And then oscillator going to the gain. Okay, we got some sound. Some sound came out of Bespoke. Very straightforward. That's the essence of it. We generate notes, we put them into some sort of synthesizer, we send that to the gain. Now this is boring, right? This is just a sine wave playing some notes, right? So how do we make it sound a little bit cooler? The main way that you can do that is through audio effects, and most of the audio effects actually live inside of what's called an effect chain, right? You can see all these live in the effect chain. So let's just put an effect chain in, and I'll show you a trick. If you drag this and then you hold shift, let go, it'll automatically reconnect it to what it had before. So drag, hold shift, and then connect it to that while still holding shift, it'll reconnect. So we've got an effect chain. It's not doing anything yet. I'm going to show you my favorite thing to put into an effect chain is a delay. What a delay does is it echoes the sound that comes in at the volume that this amount is, right? And it makes everything sound cool and spacey. And then that echo feeds back into the delay. And so if you have this at half, about half, okay, now it sounds like it's coming from space, right? It's cool. And it's feeding back into itself at half volume, so then the next time it hits, it's a quarter. The next time it hits, it's 12.5%. It just keeps going down. If you put this all the way to 1, you will blow out the gain, and it'll eventually stop playing. It'll get really, really, really loud because it's not reducing in volume at all. But anything less than 1 will reduce eventually. You can always add things like compressors too to make sure it doesn't destroy your gain. You won't blow out your speakers. Bespoke has ways to not do that. Okay, so now we have a delay. That's cool. That's making it sound kind of spacey. What else can we do? You know what? Let's change the shape of the sine wave. We're going to change it, the shuffle here. We can watch it change. Ooh. Do we like that? Maybe a little bit? Sure. We can change the pulse wave. Kind of like that, yeah. So we can kind of change the shape of it. Let's add some other effects in here. Let's add tremolo. You'll like this. Pretty cool, right? It's a nice trick. You can add that before the delay so that the little bumps down get delayed and echoed rather than the echoes getting bumped down, right? So, the order does matter, which is kind of something important to know. Okay, we got a cool sound. You know what? Let's add some drums. So we're going to grab an instrument, drum sequencer. We're going to grab a synth, the drum player. We're going to put this on. We're just going to do 4 on the floor. So I know these are kick drums. Drag this over to the drum player. This has a bunch of randomized drum samples. I'll show you how to edit in a minute. And then we'll drag this over to gain. Okay, that's cool. Let's add a snare. I guess that's a clap. Now this isn't quite how I'd imagined it. I had imagined a different rhythm, so I'm going to bump these to the left. Cool. Okay. We got something going on here. This is all right. All right, so we got some stuff going on. What else can we do? Well, we can add another effect chain. Here's another neat tip. If you hold 2 keys down on your keyboard, so E and then F, you'll get everything that starts with those 2 letters. There's only the effect chain, so I can just drag it out. I don't have to go up to the menus. Okay, hold Shift now, let go. Okay, cool. What do we want to add on here? We're gonna bit crush this. We're gonna make these sound like computery drums. Downsample it. Crush it down. I think I just like downsampled better. Let's distort it. Let's blow this up. Very cool, right? Okay, this is all right. This is all right. Let's add a delay on here. Let's do a shorter delay. I don't like that. There we go. That's what I like. I like that better. Cool. Okay, so we got some stuff going on here. And that's, this is kind of my process with Bespoke. You can make some really cool stuff in a very short period of time, and then you can fuss with it, and you can futz with it, and you can find interesting things to do with it. One of the things that you can do is you can set these settings up to change automatically. So if I right-click on this shuffle here, it's going to create what's called an LFO. That means low frequency oscillator. It doesn't matter. What it means is it's going to change this if I change these settings. So if I change this down to low down here, the high up there, you can see it's created a little sine wave, right? And that thing, the setting is changing with the sine wave, right? If I wanted to go slower, length of oscillation period, let's do... See, it's fun, right? Like, now you got a different wave. I could change it to a saw wave. I can change it to a negative saw wave. And you get different sounds, right? Square waves. On, off, on, off. And it's all related to the BPM, right? So this is all automatically tied to it. I could even randomize this if I wanted to do that. So we got Perlin. This just goes up and down. Like, it is somewhere between the low and the high at all times, but you never know where. And if I wanted to go faster, see, look at that. Kind of bumping up and down. Pretty cool. So, you can do as many of these as you want. Every single dial, well, not quite every, but most of these dials can be mess around with LFOs. And that's how you sort of automate your songs as well, right? So let's say I want this distortion to go up, 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 and then immediately drop down to 0, right? I can add that to the mix here. So normal drums, distorted drums. So let's add an LFO to that. Let's put it on, oops, I did not want to, there we go, whatever. I think the offset should be 0. We'll change this to a saw, we'll put the low at 0. Normal drums. Okay, so now we got a cool thing. Let's make it real slow. And over time, these drums will get more and more distorted, right? And so now we have sort of a longer version of that effect that we had, and it's kind of increasing, it's building to a crescendo, right? That's cool. And you can set multiple things on that same cadence. We could set multiple things to 32, multiple things crescendo at the same time. Kind of neat, right? And yeah, that's it, like that's kind of it. Like, there's a lot to talk about in terms of like, what is a note? What's a note effect? Like, why does it make the synth do what it does? How can we change that? What are these audio effects? Do you have audio effects that don't live in the effect chain? Yes. What are these synthesizers? But a lot of it can just be found through play, through experimentation, right? And that's what I would recommend. But the first thing is getting sound to come out. Once you have the sound, you have lots of places to go with it. So you get an instrument, synthesizer, pass it to your gain. Put the effect chain on before, so you can add some effects, and you got songs. And that's my little Bespoke tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.